Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 40% alcohol VS brandies. VS, very smooth, meaning aged 2 to 4 years. Generally, that's what they are aged. So young brandies. This is a real old bottle here of VS cognac. Bisquit VS, very special cognac. Sometimes they'll call it very smooth. It's really like very standard, but they're not going to put that on there. Very simple. This is cognac brandy from Cognac, France. It's from an old company called Bisquit and de Boucher, or they call it on their website B&D. B&D. You can see it's 3-star brandy on the bottle because in England they call it 3-star brandy. In France and the rest of the world they call it VS. That same type 2 to 4 year age. There's a write up on the back. This bottle is from 1954. It's got an old tax stamp on it showing that. And this was given to me by my next door neighbor. Thank you, Amy. Maxwell, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Maxwell, in the Russian Federation. Thanks for watching. So she gave me this bottle right after the Hurricane Ida hit and we had all this damage. And she bought it at an estate sale for $1. I said, $1? I said, well, why are you giving it to me? It was still sealed, had never been opened. Oh, she said, I'll never drink it. I said, well, if you're never going to drink it, why did you buy it? Oh, she said, well, it was only $1. So it was a nice gift. And we had trouble getting the cork out. We used a wine cork to reseal it, but it was a pain in the butt. But we got it open, and it's still really good. 69-year-old bottle of brandy. Cognac brandy. Now here's the competitor, Royal 1889 brandy. Or I'm sorry, 1889 Royal Brandy. And it really may have been introduced in 1889 because I found some trademark data for a product called Old 1889 Brandy from 1915, and on the back of the bottle, it says Old 1889 Brandy, and on the website, it's listing it as Old 1889. And if you look at the advertisement for this brandy from 1915, an old newspaper ad, it says since 1889. If I could get it to focus, I'd be so happy. There it is. Now, it used to be called Old 1889 California Brandy, or I think it was called Old California 1889 Brandy, but they don't, it's probably brandy from all over the United States now, so they can't call it California Brandy. They just call it Old 1889. It's probably brandy from different states blended together on the cheap, on the real cheap, because it was $17.99 for this huge glass jug bottle. $17.99. Now the Bisquit and de Boucher, like I said, it was given to me, but it is on the market. Total Wine and More has it, but not around here. They have it like South Carolina somewhere, and it's a lot more. Let me get the dust off. It's a lot more expensive. It's not $17.99. If I recall correctly, they had 3 listings on the internet, different liquor stores, and the average was like the VS was running like $54. The VSOP, now the VS is not listed on their website anymore. Maybe they dropped it. I don't know, or they just don't bother listing it. But seems weird. But so it was like $54 for the VS. It was like $94 for the VSOP, and it was like $194 for the XO. So it was really expensive. Some of those French cognac, well, all cognac is from France. I don't have to say French, but some of those XO cognacs will run you in the hundreds of dollars or higher, thousands. But I won't be trying them unless they're given to me because I'm not paying that kind of money for brandy, overhyped brandy. No, I mean, uh, now so far this 1889 has won 0 contests. I don't remember the number, but I could look it up. But it's been a blowout. Okay, so now the Bisquit and Debouché, and that's from a marriage. That's why it's got 2 names on it. Like some guy Bisquit, Andre Bisquit started it, and then his son-in-law came in or something. Like that story, and then they changed the name to Bisquit and Debouché. It's still a distillery out there in France. So there you go. It's darker, more copper. This is caramel color because it's using caramel color. If they didn't add the coloring, it'd probably be nearly white because or clear, because brandy typically doesn't have to. It's not a law, but typically they use white grapes to make brandy. Why? I don't know. Maybe they makes it taste better or something. To me, it makes them taste like golden raisins a little bit, but that's what golden raisins are made from, the white grapes. I did Reynal from 1814. Now I'm doing Bisquit and Debouché VS from 1819. And then I've got Saint-Remy XO from 1990. But the Saint-Remy company is from 1881, but the XO is from 1990. It's a newer thing. And then I've got Ciroc VS. You've heard of Ciroc brandy. I thought by now they would have come out with some older ages, but they never did. If they did, they don't have it on the website. Last time I checked, just showing VS. But if that's all they want to make, fine with me. That's from 2018. And then I have the Brandy Saint Louis, also French brandy from 2018. And then I think that's all the brandies. And then we on to rum. I'm pretty sure. I could have overlooked something like I did with the whiskey, That's why I did White Horse last night. Smells a little liquory, like liquor, just like generalized. You said, smell like liquor. What kind is it? This smells richer. There's a lot more aroma here. I got tags at the bottom, okay, so I can, but there's a lot more aromatics from this one. So you're thinking, right, like, well, it's got to be the expensive one, the $54 one, not the $17.99 for the jug one. Let's go with the taste, shall we? We shall. As soon as I taste vanilla, I'm going to know which is which. Ha ha ha. That's the old 1889 Royal Brandy, or RB as they call it on the bottle. They calling it RB. I guess that's a nickname. I'll call it that too. They ought to call it VB, Vanilla Brandy. VB, because it tastes like vanilla. It says brandy with natural flavors and caramel coloring. I didn't put that in the notes. They must have gone berserk with vanilla over there at Heaven Hill. I don't know if they did that as a joke, like, let's just add a lot of vanilla extract and we'll like prank all the consumers. And then when they buy it, they'll be thinking they're drinking vanilla. I hope that's what they did as a nasty joke. I hope they didn't make this on purpose, like this is the way it was supposed to be. Like, oh yeah, this is the way good brandy is. But no, in Heaven Hill, they just said, no, it's cheap. We don't care. And I'm not saying that to put them down, but I saw a video where their brand representative was making like a flip comment about their blended whiskeys. And their attitude was probably, ain't nobody cares about that stuff. TW saying it was blended whiskey. Ain't nobody worried about that $8.99 bottle. And I guess nobody is really. But I don't know. I like Sazerac's approach a little bit better. I mean, it's gauche. Sazerac's approach is gauche. Like they'll just come out with, if they describe any product they make, they're going to talk about like the delicate nuances of the fine grape interaction of the oak and the rich flavor. I'm like, for this. And it's like the cheapest bum liquor, could be like the cheapest vodka, bum vodka. And the way they describe it, it's almost like they're in a gourmet laboratory, handcrafted up. Excuse me, my nose is itching with it. And we have to be so careful with Crystal Palace gin. We don't want the vagrants to take offense. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm the one with the attitude, but it is funny just to see how they approach it. Burley Sullivan says, "You to you, Burley," but they just approach it straight. Like they just say, "This stuff is, so amazing." And it is amazing in a sense. It might be amazingly bad or amazingly questionable. But look at the website for MD 2020 wine. Read that website. You think you're reading a gourmet wine, like a allocated wine website. Like you gotta put your name on a waiting list for MD 2020. And then they'll have the same thing with Boone's Farm. Oh yes, we take Boone's Farm very seriously. It's just comical, the way they play it straight, At least with Four Loko, that questionable, to say the least, beer product, they like come across like they know it's a joke. You know what I mean? They're part of the joke. Like, we know what this is, and we're not going to pretend it's otherwise. And so they just kind of like in on the joke at the Four Loko people fusion project. So I kind of like that approach too, because it's like, they're saying we get it, because we make it, and they're not going to claim anything except the obvious. This is so much richer, it's not even funny. Not funny. This is like full of wood, oak. And they say, well, it aged since 1954, but aging it in a glass bottle wouldn't add oak flavor to it. It's just that it was intense from the start. Actually, you might find it's too woody. I think a Hennessy drinker would say, oh, that's bad cognac. Oh man, that's bad cognac, bro. I ain't drinking that, bro. And you say, wait, actually, this is the way it's supposed to be. You used to drinking Hennessy, which is sort of like popularized cognac. Maybe more geared toward people with a sweet tooth, and that's not that discerning, I mean, it's supposition. I don't know. I've had Hennessy, had VS, but to me, this is way better than the Hennessy VS. It's just my opinion. I had the VSOP privilege. Well, that's going to beat this. And then I had the Hennessy Black, and that's going to beat this. But it's better because of the price. So, but this is a very interesting product. It has a lot of complexity to it. Oh, yeah. Grape leaves, grape skin, the leaves, really. A lot of tannins, a lot of tannic qualities. So, but it's going to be a little intense. So if you are sensitive to things, like you say, oh, can't stand stuff too hot. Don't like stuff that's too spicy, like cinnamon or whatever. Can't be too creamy. Can't be too rich. Can't be too sweet or sugary. And that's just how some people's palate is. There's nothing wrong with it. You can't say, well, they don't have a developed palate like I do. It's just they don't like it, okay? Some people like bland, what we would call bland stuff. They would say, no, it's mild. I prefer that. And then we can't understand it. But then they don't, on the flip side, they don't understand why we would want something so spicy and hot. But it is that way. So if you're sensitive to those things, you might want to avoid the B&D, Bisquit and Debouché brandy, cognac brandy. But if you like those kind of rich characters and kind of intense and hot, it's VS, so it's only aged 2 to 4 years, so it's kind of hot. You know, like Buster Poindexter, you know, he would be drinking this saying it's hot, hot, hot. All right, so but now on the other hand, if you really don't care, like you just don't care, you say I want the booze and I don't care. You say if it tastes like vanilla extract, I don't care as long as I get lit. Well, $17.99, you know, but why are you paying that? You know, it's really, that sounds super cheap, but that really ain't the cheapest. If you got to have 40% and some kind of issue with you in your life, whatever, which I would not encourage in any way, um, and don't encourage it, but just using that as a hypothetical approach. I mean, I got handles I bought for $7.99. All right, $7.99 for a whole handle of Mexican vodka, sugarcane vodka. It's a strange product, but it's actually pretty good. Now my friend David was like, "That's a plastic bottle. Don't drink it. It's going to give you chemical poisoning or whatever." I don't believe all that. I got to do some research on these PET bottles and the controversy because I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. But that'll get you the problem that you want, you know, for it. Now, I don't guess most states, I don't guess in most states you can get a handle of vodka for $7.99. But I remember about 4 years ago, international market had it for $5.99. It was Nikolai though, it wasn't Vodovsky. I didn't buy it. I said, what am I gonna do with a handle of vodka? I don't even like vodka much. But then I started thinking about doing the mix-ups. Now I do the mix-up videos, which it works. But when those two bottles are gone, I'm not doing any more mix-ups. There are only so many soft drinks I can tolerate. But I've been doing some really interesting soft drinks, I gotta say. All sugar, no high fructose corn syrup, flim flam stuff. But oh man, you know, there's some very intriguing mix-ups. You got to get away. 1889 brandy, you got to go away. You messing up my life. No, I mean it's like, I'm not gonna say it's the worst brandy I've ever had, but it might be. Although I don't see how anything could be worse than that old Hartley VS brandy. Ooh, that thing was bitey. Gave it a C minus. Glad when that thing was gone. They don't even make it anymore. I never see Hartley VS. I hadn't seen that thing in so long. Oh, then they just made something called Hartley Brandy. No letter on it. Just Hartley Brandy. I saw that for a little bit. It was all right. It was better than that harsh VS. And now everywhere you go, it's VSOP. I guess Sazerac said, man, let's just age it for 4 years, 4 to 6 years, which at that price point means 4 years. You know, it ain't 6. Okay, 4-year age, more than likely, $8.99 a bottle because it's perpetually on sale. You never see it not on sale. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Winn-Dixie, they're going to have Hartley Brandy and it's going to always be on sale. And it'll always be like almost sold out. People buy it. And usually the big glass jug bottles, the big ones, the handles. And that's even cheaper per ounce than $8.99. But and then it got all the flavor. The apple seemed like the apple's real popular. See apple all the time being sold out. The orange sometimes that'll be around a little bit, or the pineapple. I don't know, that won't sell as fast. But that one was close to this. Like as far as the ranking of the worst and the second worst, it would have to be those two: Hartley VSOP and the Royal 1889 VSOP. And I will not recommend them, and I will not ever buy them again. I might buy Hartley again one day just as like a nostalgic trip down bad memories. I don't mean like I got sick off of it. Oh, I remember how I felt the next day. Like I don't mean like that. I mean just bad memories of it. It didn't taste good. Not. It was relatively bad. It wasn't technically bad, but compared to all the other brandies I have, it was bad. But yeah, anyway, that's the story on that. I guess you get what you pay for generally because those are the two cheapest and they have the two worst flavors. And then if you go to Total Wine, they got an imitation brandy. I'm not buying that. It's called, I think it's called Petra. It's something from California, 3 star, and it says brandy with distilled spirits, grain spirits. I'm like, why would I buy that? I made the mistake of buying that stinking, rotten, horrible caliber imitation rum. That's what the U.S. government classes it, imitation rum, rum with distilled spirits. But they only say it real tiny. See, like if you look at the bottle, it says rum, but it isn't technically. It's a rum product. That thing was so bad. That was literally the worst liquor I ever had in my life. The worst. The all-time champion worst. And I got rid of it all. I drank it all. Can you believe it? I forced it down. Oh my goodness. Now the big bottle, if you get the big bottle, the handle of it, the same product, it doesn't say distilled spirits anywhere on it. It's like regular rum, spice rum. So I don't know why they're using 2 recipes, you know, the fake one in the little bottle, or I should say the regular size, um, 750, and then the actual rum in the handle. I don't know why. There's some reasoning behind it with Sazerac, and it probably has a 100% to do with money. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Even though this was a blowout, it was interesting in a sense. So be back tomorrow with the I can't remember what, oh yeah, the San Remy XO. Yeah. Thank you.